No, I have my intern in some days, and because now I'm in the fourth grade of university, so I don't have classes every day. I just have to go to school on Wednesday, and on the other day, if I don't have my intern, and I don't have to go. Uh, on my weekdays, uh, because I don't have too many classes now, so uh, I have a lot of time for myself, so I can read some books or watch some dramas. And I go to school when I have classes, and I usually have 2 to 3 days of intern, which is prepared from our courses. So I have to go to work at those days. I would like to. I'm thinking about learning something like I want to go to a drawing lesson because I have a lot of free time now, so I have time to do what I want to. On weekends, I usually go out with my friends or my family, and we usually eat dinner together and talk about what happened in the week. Yes. Uh, I am really into a drama called The Story of Yanxi, and it's a Qing drama about the Qing dynasty of China. And it was really popular in these days. So everybody is talking about the story, the drama. And um, I also watched it because of all my friends and my teachers. They are all into this drama, and I just finished it like last week. I saw the last episode last week, and um, it's about like the the main character is a girl, and she went in the forbidden garden for revenge because her sister is killed inside. So she wants to find out who did the murder, and after the revenge, she became uh, the king's like something like a queen, and they she to live to survive in the palace, she have to think about many things and be careful when doing anything. So I think it's really exciting and really nervous when I was watching it. And because this drama was so popular, so when I went to school, my classmates and we always act or talk like the characters. Uh, I think it was always a trend. Like it doesn't change a lot recent year, but we have a habit of going to the cinemas or the movie theaters to watch the movies. I think it's just as the same before. When I was still a kid, when I was young, I often go to the movie theater with my parents, and now I often go to the movie theater with my friend. And when there is any popular or famous films released, there will be a lot of people lining up for the tickets. So I think it's the same as before. In my opinion, I like to watch movies in the movie theater more because the sound and the screen is more bigger and better, and watching a movie in the cinema is uh, a really makes me enjoy a lot. Many films from other countries are shown in my country. There are Hollywood movies or Korean or Japanese movies or even like the movies from India, and they are all really popular in Taiwan. I think it was good quality before, but not now because uh, nowadays China TV programs have a lot of money for producing their shows, but in Taiwan we don't have that much money for it, so the quality was getting lower and lower. Can you say it again? I think uh, only Taiwanese movies or dramas or variety shows are getting worse and worse. But like HBO or Discovery, they are still in a good quality. No, I mean every Taiwanese uh, program was getting worse and worse. No matter movies or dramas or variety show, even the news is talking about uh, something that it's not worth it, worth to show on the TV. I think it's something about the politics, and uh, because our TV industry are get the I think the quality is not good as before because they keep talking about things like who fought with another person and who killed someone. And I think they didn't put the point on the global side. They just put it in our own society.
Okay, here is our second sample. Let's have a listen. Topic 1, daily routine. Is your routine the same every day?
No, I have my intern in some days, and because now I'm in the fourth grade of university, so I don't have classes every day.
Okay, so you might notice she speaks quite slowly. Clearly, but slowly, that affects fluency. In turn, I think what you want to say is internship. In Sundays, surely that should be on Sundays. So we see some basic errors there. Fourth grade of university. Remember, universities don't have grades. Universities have years. So I'm in the fourth year of university.
Because now I'm in the fourth grade of university, so I don't have classes every day. I just have to go to school on Wednesday, and on the other day, if I don't have my intern, and I don't have to go.
Okay, so she uses intern wrong. Intern is a person. The program is called an internship.
On my weekdays, because I don't have too many classes now, so I have a lot of time for myself, so I can read some books or watch some dramas.
Just as a point, there's nothing wrong with saying dramas, but just make sure that you know what a drama is. Drama is not synonymous with TV show. The two are different.
And I go to school when I have classes, and I usually have 2 to 3 days of intern, which is prepared from our courses. I have to go to work at those days.
Okay, again, she has problems with prepositions. The preposition for days is on, not at. Okay, is there anything you'd like to change about your weekday routine? Now remember, if would is in the question, it means not real. It's a wish that you have.
I would like to. I'm thinking about learning something. Like I want to go to a drawing lesson because I have a lot of free time now, so I have time to do what I want to.
Okay, simple but understandable.
On weekends, I usually go out with my friends or my family, and we usually eat dinner together and talk about what happened in the week.
Ditto for this one. Nothing special, nothing terrible. Okay, let's move on to part 2. So this is where the examiner is going to say, now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. And before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can also make some notes if you wish. Do you understand? And if you say you understand, they will give you a paper and pencil for making notes, and they will give you your topic. And here the topic is, describe a book, film, or TV program which made a strong impression on you. And here are the cues, what kind of book or film or TV program it is, when you read it or saw it, what it was about, and why it made an impression on you. And after your 1 minute preparation, the examiner will say, all right, now remember you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. Can you start speaking now, please? So let's have a listen to this part 2 turn.
I am really into a
The is good.
drama called The Story of Yanxi, and it's a teen drama.
King drama. Drama about royalty.
About the Qing dynasty of China, and it was really popular in these days.
Now hang on a second. It was really popular in these days. Why is she using the past tense?
These days, so everybody is talking about the story, the drama, and I also watched it because of.
Now she's back to the past tense again. Alright, so it's a little bit confusing whether this happened in the past or if it's happening right now. Because she's using the present continuous tense You're just using the past tense.
because of all my friends and my teachers. They are all into this drama.
Present tense.
And I just finished it like last week.
Past tense.
I saw the last episode last week, and it's about like the main character is a girl, and
Alright, so if you're talking about films or TV shows or books, character is definitely a word that you should use. If it's the main character, she does say main character, okay.
is a girl, and she went in the forbidden garden for revenge because her sister is killed inside. So
Revenge is good. So she wants to revenge the death of her sister or the murder of her sister. I don't know if she was killed or murdered. Oh, now it's murder. Okay.
so she wants to find out who did the murder.
Did the murder. Maybe there's a better word. If you're talking about crimes, a better verb than did would be committed. But the tenses are kind of messed up too. Because past tense, present tense. Anyway, she wanted to find out who committed the murder.
And after the revenge, she became
That should be she, right? I think I messed up the subtitles here. Let's change that. It should be she, not he.
After the revenge, she became the king's, like something like a queen, and she to survive in the palace.
Okay, so there was a bit of disfluency there. She wanted to become something like a queen. I don't know what that would be. I'm not familiar with the Chinese dynasties.
To survive in the palace, she have to think about many things and be careful when doing anything. So
Okay, kind of basic, kind of vague. She has to think about many things when doing anything. What does she have to consider, and when does she have to consider it?
when doing anything. So I think it's really exciting and really nervous when I was watching it.
Again, just like the previous candidate, it's exciting, yes. It's nervous, no. Only people can be nervous. So if something makes you nervous, it's nerve-wracking.
Really nervous when I was watching it, and because this drama was so popular. So when I went to school, my classmates and we always act or talk like the characters.
Okay. Fluency is not bad, but the speed might be. It's kind of slow. Alright, here we go to part 3. See the topic. Oh, so the examiner is going to say, so we've been talking about a TV program which made a strong impression on you, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general issues about that. And then the first issue, we don't know what the topic is. I guess the topic might be going to the cinema. But anyway, the question is, in your country, has going to the cinema increased or decreased in popularity in recent years? Of course, the examiner might rephrase this question depending on your level of English.
I think it was always a trend. Like it didn't change a lot.
It was always a trend, but remember, trends need to either go up or go down. I guess it can go sideways also. So if it hasn't changed a lot, that doesn't tell us if it's becoming more or less popular. Is she confusing trend with trendy? Maybe. Because if it's trendy, it's popular. If it's a trend, it just means that's the general thing that people do. That's the thing that generally happens.
Changed a lot recent years, but we have a habit of going to the cinemas or the movie theaters to watch the movies.
Why is it the? There should be no the. Because she's talking about movies in general. Okay, so it's not clear whether she's saying it's more or less popular. So here is the follow-up question. Is it more popular now?
I think it's just as the same before.
So if it's the same as before, then what does this mean? It was always a trend. So then this trend must mean trendy. Trendy means popular. Why? Alright, let's hear.
When I was still a kid, when I was young, I often go to the movie theater with my parents, and now I often go to the movie theater with my friends. And
So now her support is just her and her friend going to the theater. But remember, part 3 is not supposed to be personal.
When there is any popular or famous films released, there will be a lot of people lining up for the tickets.
Okay, here are two things. The one is released. This is a good word to use when you're talking about movies. The other one is the lining up. There will be a lot of people lining up. What's not so good is she's talking about the past. Okay, so when there was, and then she goes to when there is. But she's talking about when she's a kid. So the tense is, again, confusing. And then there will be, and then she throws in the future tense. So it's a bit confusing there. Do you think this trend will continue? Let's see.
In my opinion, I like to watch movies in the movie theater more because the sound and the screen is more bigger and better.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's go back to the original question. The original question was in your country, meaning the whole population, not just you. Part 3 is not about you. Part 3 is about what most people in your country do.
Watch movies in the movie theater more because the sound and the screen is more bigger.
The sound and the screen is more bigger. There's some basic errors here.
And better. And watching a movie in the cinema is makes me enjoy a lot.
Okay, so she wanted to say enjoyable, but she just couldn't quite get the word out. What's good is that here she uses the noun phrase, watching a movie. But then she kind of spoils it by not knowing how to use the word enjoyable. What proportion of films shown in your country is imported from other countries? Wow, this is a hard question. Good grief.
Many films from other countries are shown in my country.
There are many films from other countries. We don't need this be verb. Shown in my country.
There are Hollywood movies or Korean or Japanese movies or even like the movies from India.
Okay, again, she uses the adjective. It's India, not Indian.
They are all really popular in Taiwan.
So, her grammar score might be improved if she could somehow connect the sentences into one. But instead she has 3 sentences to express a pretty basic idea. So she could have said, many films from other countries which are shown in my country are pretty popular, such as those from Hollywood or Korea or Japanese or even Bollywood, and they're all really popular in Taiwan. Oh, I guess that's what happened here. the choice of sentences for this answer is just a bit simple. Too many simple structures. Do you think TV programs shown in your country are generally of good quality?
I think it was good quality before, but
Let's just go back to the question. Of good quality. So I think it was of good quality before.
I think it was good quality before, but not now, because nowadays China TV programs
Chinese.
have a lot of money for producing their shows.
Remember, produce is a noun. Produce is a verb.
But in Taiwan, we don't have that much money for it, so the quality was getting lower and lower.
Same thing. Sentences are too short, too simple. Here's a follow-up
Can
question.
you say it again? I think only Taiwanese movies or dramas or variety shows are getting worse than worse.
Worse than worse. Worse and worse.
But like HBO or Discovery, they are still in a good quality.
Oh, hang on a second. Let's change that to a capital. It's a name, right? That's still a good quality. Okay, so remember quality of good quality, of low quality. So, okay. I don't want to repeat myself. Okay, another follow-up question. Is that happening to all these kinds of shows?
Well, I mean, every Taiwanese program was getting worse and worse, no matter movies or dramas or variety shows. Even the news is talking about something that is not worth to show on the TV.
Okay, so it's not worth, and then V-I-N-G, it's not worth showing on TV. For TV, we don't need the article.
I think it's something about the politics, and because our TV industry are get the
Industry R.
I think the quality is not good as before because they keep
As good as before. The quality is not as good as before.
talking about things like who fought with another person and who killed someone. And I think
Is she talking about crime? Okay, so maybe she's saying the news focuses too much on crime. But is she talking? But that's what the news is supposed to cover, right? Politics and okay. Anyway, okay. So the news focuses too much on crime.
with another person and who killed someone. And I think they didn't put the point on the global side.
Okay, so they don't focus on global issues. They only focus on national issues.
They just put it in our own society.
Okay, let's have a look at what the band descriptors have to say about this. Okay, here's the fluency and coherence band 5. She can maintain a flow of speech, yes. Uses repetition or self-correction, not really. Slow speech to keep going, yes. Speech was too slow. And the connectives and the discourse markers that she used were kind of simple. Okay, that's all. For lexical resources, let's see here. It manages to talk about familiar and unfamiliar topics, but uses vocabulary with limited flexibility. Let's look at some examples. Like here, wrong choice, wrong word form. This is pretty simple. This is pretty simple. Pretty simple. Let's get to part 2 vocabulary. Dynasty was a good word to use. Into was a good word to use. Episode as well. So here in part 2, we saw a little bit revenge, also a little bit higher level vocabulary. But then something like a queen. Yeah, I guess that's an example of successful paraphrasing. She used the word character, but let's get to part 3. The vocabulary here is pretty basic. Except for maybe released. But all the vocabulary used here is basic at level 5. Yeah, there's nothing that stands out. And then here, when she tried to talk about, they keep talking about things like who fought with another person and who killed someone. The idea that she's trying to express is just can be summed up in just one word: crime. But instead, she uses such a long phrase to get her point across. Okay, here's grammar, band 5. Produces basic sentence forms with reasonable accuracy. I think that's true. Uses a limited range of more complex structures, but these usually contain errors and may cause some comprehension problems. Let's look at some examples of that. Okay, so here we have a sentence where the conjunction because is used to join those two. And here she uses and. Because, so I can read some books. But all these sentences are made up of pretty simple clauses. I go to school. I can read some books. I have classes. I usually have 2 to 3. I can. Here, this is not bad, which is prepared. So here she used the passive structure. I have to. I want to go. I have. I usually go. And then here we have and. And then part 2. She joins this together with so. This is because. I also watched it because I just finished. There's lots of problems with tenses that are not accurate. It's about a girl, and she went to the Forbidden Palace for revenge. And she uses because again. So. Wow, this is a very long sentence. But the grammar doesn't stand out there. So, and, so. So it's pretty repetitive. And then when we get to part 3, I think it was always a trend. But, and, so. Now here's the more complex structure that actually works. So when they're there, the problem is just it's so disfluent. So when there is any popular. Why does she use the word any? Or famous films released, there will be. Okay, so this is a complex structure, but she needs to reword it to be more accurate. Here we have because again, more bigger. Okay, now here, passive structure, that's good. But we don't see enough of that. And some of these answers are really short, like for example this. Simple structure, simple structure. And in the last sentence we saw the grammar not really getting the job done. And then for pronunciation, band 5, she didn't use all the features. Like chunking was okay, rhythm was okay, but we saw very little sentence stress, we saw very little intonation. She didn't vary the speed at which she spoke. So this is probably where her pronunciation score would land.